All right. Welcome back for another very surprising episode of the Delete Lawz saga, legal saga. Um, I know we're all surprised to be back so soon. So before getting started, I've just I've got to say thank you to all of you. So I'm not going to get in a habit of acknowledging subscription milestones, but I did surpass the 1,000 subscriber milestone around 4:30 in the afternoon today, uh, at 1,004 as of right now. So even though this is, you know, only a fraction of my ultimate goal, it's still the most meaningful YouTube subscriber milestone. So thank you guys for that. So with that, let's jump first as an appetizer back to Boston. Uh DeCastro versus Abrams et al. And today, looking at the docket, we had a motion for disclosure by Jose Maria de Castro, docket number 116. Now, this can only get him deeper in trouble with the judge. Now, he's and by trouble, I don't mean he's going to be held in contempt. It's just going to give her more contempt for him. Um, we've seen. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos of him calling her sugar tits, just being extremely derogatory to her, dismissive of her, threatening to dox her and everyone associated with her, and how she's a former federal prosecutor prosecuting drug crimes, received awards from police associations. Therefore, she must be completely biased against him and blah blah blah. And he's going to have her recused and well, it started. And this isn't going to go the way he thinks it is. So we have plaintiff's motion for disclosure. Plaintiff Jose de Castro hereby moves this honorable court to disclose 1. All ex parte communications concerning this action. 2. Any personal bias or prejudice that this court has against plaintiff. And 3. The answers to the two below questions below. 1. Is Judge Burroughs a member of any law enforcement slash police associations, including any and all contributions and awards? And the only response he will receive to this is it'll be kick rocks. The judge doesn't have to answer his questions. He's insane. He's deranged. And two, what does Judge Burroughs know about plaintiff in addition to the record for this action? Well, she'll respond the same, but uh, he, as part of the record, he has submitted every single one of his videos as an exhibit. So if she's watched them, that's probably about what she knows. She probably hasn't. I mean, she definitely hasn't watched all of them, but if she has, the judges can become biased against you. That doesn't mean you get a new judge. Judges can't be wrongfully biased. So basically, he's trying to allege she's pro cop, and since he's anti cop, he can't possibly get a fair trial from her. Well, that's not how that works. Now, if he were African American and she were a skinhead, that would be an impermissible bias based on racial animus, and she would have to recuse herself, or at least in theory. That doesn't always happen, um, but a cop or being pro cop and anti cop, that's not the same thing as African American and skinhead. Ugh. In support of this motion, plaintiff submits a memorandum of law, which is fully incorporated herein. Facts. This court's order at ECF number 47 states the court will not communicate with any party to this litigation ex parte, nor will it accept ex parte communications. Any communication received from a party to this litigation will be placed on the public record, which the court has done. The court received ex parte letters from both Josh and Kate at the beginning asking for more time. She construed them as motions and put them on the docket. The transcript of the hearing at ECF number 22 mentions communications from Todd Lyon to the court. Now, Todd Lyon is the person I still don't understand what what's going on there. Delete Lawz claims that Kate hired him to infiltrate and befriend Delete Lawz and gather information. And Todd Lyons claims to the court, Delete Lawz threatened me and tried to force me to submit false affidavits and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing Todd Lyons is not a party. If Todd Lyons communicated with the court, that's not ex parte communication of a party. And furthermore, it's on the record that he contacted the court. The court might have very good reason not to disclose the contents of that communication. Due to these facts, this is not a baseless fishing expedition. That's exactly what this is. And it's a fishing expedition in a mud puddle that, hell, it's a fishing expedition in an outhouse. It's anything it catches, you don't want to put your hands on. But rather backed by evidence of the existence of ex parte communications that plaintiff has not been party to, nor are these communications part of the record, nor has plaintiff been able to respond to these communications, nor does whatever comes from Todd Lyons matter. He's not a party, like I said. Eh, he drives me nuts. Points and authorities. Pursuant to Code of Conduct for United States Judges Canon 3A4, 2019, a judge should accord to every person who has a legal interest in a proceeding and that person's lawyer the full right to be heard according to law. Except as set out below, a judge should not initiate, permit, or consider ex parte communications or consider other communications concerning a pending or impending matter that are made outside the presence of the parties or their lawyers. If a judge receives an unauthorized ex parte communication bearing on the substance of the matter, that did Todd Lyons' communication have anything bearing on the substance of the matter? The judge should promptly notify the parties of the subject matter of the communication and allow the parties an opportunity to respond if requested. So the judge should promptly notify the parties of the, which isn't isn't that what the judge did on the record in open court? A judge must make this disclosure on the record of circumstances that may give rise to a reasonable question about his impartiality. See Liljeburg versus Health Services Acquisitions Corp. Supreme Court, 1988. That's nice. The court should have done that at the start. And if Delete Lawz has made the judge less impartial through his conduct, that's not impermissible. Judges, of course, become biased by your behavior through the course of litigation. Ugh. Well, that was fun. But I know what you're all here for. So, Delete Lawz has sued Kate once again, this time in the Superior Court of California, County of Los Angeles, for civil defamation, stalking, harassment, tortious interference, and right to publicity. Now, once again, this is nonsense. This is a better written complaint. It comes out of all of his complaints and amended complaints, it comes the closest to actually alleging a cause of action. I'm not saying he does it well, but it comes the closest to alleging a cause of action. But of course, one of the main problems is that there's already he's already sued her in Massachusetts. I mean, defamation i- is maybe a count in a federal lawsuit in Massachusetts already, and if Kate has a pending motion to dismiss over there, including asking the court to dismiss with prejudice this claim of defamation. So, and remember, a month or two ago, Delete Lawz, for some reason, said, well, Kate and Josh didn't disclose any related cases, which is the plaintiff's job in filing the lawsuit. And I mean, he kind of does here, but doesn't really, at least not a disclosure. He makes mention of it. So, and I know some of you don't like Merb. I've had comments saying, quit mentioning Merb. Now, I should mention, I'm a Utah attorney. I am not a California attorney. Merb is a California attorney. He can give you a little extra spice on this. He knows the California court system, the local, and by local I mean California, not Los Angeles, but local pleading standards and whatnot. So for those of you who like Merb, go watch him. If you don't like him, don't. It's fine. I fully understand it. So comes now. I still giggle at comes now. Plaintiff Jose De Castro. hereby brings this complaint against the above named defendants and requests a settlement meeting and or conference and alleges on information and belief as follows. I forgot to mention. Defendant Catherine Peter and Doe's 1 through 30 inclusive. So he's suing 30 John Does once again. And oop, I apologize for that. He brings this complaint and requests a settlement meeting and or conference. In what world does he think Kate will ever enter into a settlement conference with him? I mean, for starters, hi- his expectations for settlement are pure pure lunacy. Pure lunacy. If I remember right from when Irish Demon trolled him by pretending to follow through with settlement, he wanted like $50,000 up front plus a fairly high percentage of his channel revenues going forward. Just absolute lunacy. Kate Kate won't enter into settlement talks. But here's the thing. At this point, and once again, I don't know Kate. I have never spoken with Kate. I've watched her videos. I've left a few comments in her live chat, but that's it. I think Kate would file bankruptcy before she paid him a penny of any judgment. Think about it. And it's really, though, what does she have to lose if she were to do it? She Bankruptcy is a painful process to go through, but she doesn't own her house. She won't lose her car. It's she doesn't have a super expensive car. She's not going to lose it. She really probably doesn't lose anything in bankruptcy. I'm not saying she should do it. I'm just saying I bet she'd do that before giving a penny to Delete Lawz. But let's read on. Introduction. Plaintiff was employed as a constitutional activist and media content creator after studying and teaching constitutional law for over 20 years. That is pure bovine Nutella. Studying constitutional law, first off. He Googles his interpretations of things. And teaching may well pontificating about it. He's misinforming people about constitutional law. And for over 20 years, BS. Although plaintiff has been arrested many times while exercising his constitutional rights to protest against racial inequality and the despotism state America has obviously become, citation needed, plaintiff has not been convicted of a crime while protesting or otherwise. Plaintiff's only misdemeanor criminal records are historically over 20 years old. Well, that is a lie. That is a bald-faced lie. Here's why. Number one, plaintiff has not been convicted of a crime while protesting or otherwise. Well, I do believe there's a theft charge, well, a theft conviction out of Oregon. But he says, well, that doesn't count Because I was dumb and young and 19 years old and pled guilty without knowing what I was doing. That's still a conviction. Oh, and then there's that GHB thing where he had a deferred prosecution. He You still have to plead guilty for that. Now, I've never had a deferral. Here in Utah, I've actually had prosecutors, when asking about a deferral, say, "Oh, we don't do deferrals." We have, but I've done a lot of pleas in abeyance, which is basically the same thing. It's you plead guilty, you receive a sentence, and you receive terms for that sentence, and the judge has described it as taking the conviction, putting it in the top drawer of his desk, and waiting. And if you show up within the 2-year period or 6-month period or whatever period, if you show up in court again, hey, it comes out, it's spring loaded, and that conviction enters. But if you don't show up in that time period, it just goes right through a shredder at the bottom of that desk drawer and disappears. So that's basically what Delete Lawz got. He pled guilty, but he surprisingly managed to stay good for however long. But he says no criminal or his only criminal records are historically over 20 years old. Um what about Ironton? Sure, it's not a conviction, but that's cuz you fled. You fled. But it's still a criminal record. It's not a conviction, but it's still a criminal record. What about the um what is it? Is it Oregon, Ohio, or his fellow frauditor? That there's a warrant, there's charges. Defendant Catherine Peter is a self-described internet troll that runs an online organization called Masshole Troll Mafia that is indeed an illegal criminal enterprise. Oh, so you can provide proof. You can provide criminal charges. You presumably, since it's an illegal criminal enterprise, show us the RICO charges. Oh, that's right. It's never RICO. RICO is the lupus of the legal world. Oh, too bad. Trolling is not simply with harmless online pranks. Trolling includes, but is not limited to, harassing, stalking, and vandalizing targets. Peter identifies a target. In this case, the plaintiff is the target, and then the criminal activities begin. Once again, what criminal activities? Peter has done this for years. Plaintiff has vowed to be the last victim of her illegal activities. All Peter needs do is identify a target, and the nightmare for them happens in an amorphous action of the organization's members hiding behind internet anonymity as well as state and country borders for protection. Peter coordinates and facilitates the coordination of harassment and stalking of plaintiff and his relations. Peter, herself and through her agents. Okay, let's look. We have here California. ru- No, wrong one. California Civil Code, Section 2295, Article 1, definition of agency. 2295. An agent is one who represents another, called the principal, in dealings with third persons. Such representation is called agency. Any person having capacity to contract may appoint an agent, and any person may be an agent. An agent for a particular act or transaction is called a special agent. All others are general agents. An agency is either actual or ostensible. Most jurisdictions, that's called actual agency or implied agency. An agency is actual when the agent is really employed by the principal. An agency is ostensible or implied when the principal intentionally or by want of ordinary care causes a third party or a third person to believe another to be his agent who is not really employed by him. Now, who does Kate employ? I mean, there may be an agency relationship with people she hosts on masshole live streams, but that would only extend to their actions on those live streams. But Delete Lawz stating what, oh well, look, they're all her agents. That's not how it works. That that's so far from how it works. I mean, and besides which, in dealing with agency law, this is everyone's favorite law school class. And by everyone's favorite, I mean most people absolutely hate it because it gets complicated. Because there's actual agency, so on second thought, I'm not even going to get into that. It's because there's actual authority, implied authority. Um, it's just asinine to think that these are all her agents. But Peter, herself, and through her agents have conspired together and committed the following crimes and torts on plaintiff. 1. Defamed him by YouTube video and written article, by email, and by telephone calls. And it's almost like you have an existing lawsuit in Massachusetts federal court. 2. Defamed his products by YouTube video, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, and by written article, by email, and by telephone calls. 3. Interfered with his contracts and prospective economic advantage. 4. Stalked him online and in person, harassed him online and in person, trespassed, assaulted, and battered him. 5. Used his name, voice, and photograph or likeness for unauthorized commercial use. And 6. Committed wholesale copying of his creative content. It's almost like there's a copyright case outstanding in Massachusetts Federal District Court. I mean, the term vexatious litigant gets thrown around an awful lot. And we all know he's litigating in a vexatious manner. But sadly, it takes a lot more than that to be labeled a vexatious litigant. Him suing her for at least two causes of action that he already has an existing lawsuit for gets him a lot closer, at least in California and Massachusetts, to being labeled a vexatious litigant. At least as far as Kate is concerned. The Massachusetts and California courts could say, you know what? If you want to bring further lawsuits against Kate, you need to do it through an attorney, or you need to do it with the consent of the court to even bring it. Unfortunately, that won't stop him from running to Arizona or to New Hampshire or to Oklahoma, or I think there are a few others, but oh yeah, Colorado as well, and you'll see why in a few minutes why I mentioned those states specifically. Um, these tortious acts were committed with malice aforethought, as defendants knew that they would cause him harm, and they did cause him economic harm, emotional harm, and physical harm, and will continue to cause him harm in the future. Plaintiff warned Peter for over 6 months before finally taking legal actions against her and her troll mafia. Jurisdiction and venue is all wrong. General jurisdiction is proper in this court because the unlawful practices alleged herein were committed by defendants within the county of Los Angeles, and the harm occurred within that county, and the amount of damages sought exceeds the minimum jurisdiction of this court. That is, once again, bovine Nutella. The, the unlawful practices alleged herein were committed in Los Angeles County? No. Just no. This court has general personal jurisdiction because significant parts of the stalking, harassment, assault, and battery occurred in California, primarily in the county of Los Angeles. Defendants' emails and phone calls to California have been substantial, continuous, and systematic. Code of Civil Procedure 410.10 and Perkins v. Ben Benguet Console Mining Co. 1953 U.S. Supreme Court. Um, what does the U.S. Supreme Court have to do with California's state court jurisdictions? Why not cite California state precedents? This court has specific personal jurisdiction because alleged source witnesses for Peter's defamation are allegedly in County of Los Angeles. Additionally, the alleged judicial record that Peter cites from as alleged fact is a judicial record of the County of Los Angeles, Calder citing Calder v. Jones. Once again, the Supreme Court from 1984. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Of anything he's alleging, virtually none of it occurred in Los Angeles. So, for the court of Los Angeles, to exert personal jurisdiction, long arm statute personal jurisdiction over Kate is ridiculous. But to say, well, the judicial records that she used to defame me are in the county of Los Angeles, that's the easiest part to get. It's that they don't even have to get a witness from Los Angeles to go to Boston to testify about it, because they just get the court records and take judicial notice of it. That that's easy. Where, whereas for other things, getting Stoneham, Massachusetts police officers, they're located in Stoneham, Massachusetts, not Los Angeles, California. Venue is proper in this court under California Code of Civil Procedure, Section 395, because plaintiff is a resident of the County of Los Angeles, and the events or omissions giving rise to these actions occurred in the County of Los Angeles. Additionally, this court offers online filing, which makes it more convenient for foreign parties that are part of this action due to California's long arm statutes. Parties: Plaintiff Jose Chilito de Castro is, and at all times herein mentioned, was an individual residing in Santa Monica, Los Angeles County, California. Plaintiff operates the YouTube channel Delete Lawz. Now, once again, he says, at all times he was an individual residing in Santa Monica. Now, that may be his domicile. Yet, he mentions, I was residing in Denver. I was residing in, wherever. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and on that basis alleges, that defendant Catherine Kate Peter is an individual residing in the state of Massachusetts, county of Bristol. Peter operates the YouTube channel Troll Mafia Official. Peter has said in the past, when harassing and stalking plaintiff's family members, plaintiff's investors, and other associates, that she did not act alone. Rather, she conspired with others, or through the doctrine of agency, did cause this harassment to occur. Once again, you stating it's an agency does not make it an agency. You're that he's the king of conclusory statements. Peter runs an online organization called Masshole Troll Mafia. Masshole. That is indeed an illegal criminal enterprise that trolls, harasses, stalks, vandalizes, assaults, and batters targets that Peter identifies. All Peter has to do is identify a target, and the trolling happens in an amorphous action of the organization's approximately 3,000 members, hiding behind internet anonymity as well as state and country borders for protection. Peter coordinates and facilitates the coordination of harassment and stalking of plaintiffs and his relations. The true name or capacities, whether individual, corporate, associate, or otherwise, of defendants Doe 1 through 30 inclusive, are unknown to plaintiff, except for the ones he does know and doesn't mention. Well, doesn't name as defendants, but he mentions their names in the filing. So they're unknown to plaintiff, except that they're fully known to plaintiff. So he therefore sues such defendants by such fictitious names and will amend this complaint to show their true names and capacities when ascertained. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and thereon alleges, that each of the defendants designated as a Doe is negligently responsible in some manner for the events and happenings herein referred to, and thereby proximately caused injuries and damages to the plaintiff as herein alleged. Facts common to all causes of action. The allegations of this complaint stated on information and belief are likely to have evidentiary support after a reasonable opportunity for further investigation or discovery. The problem therein is he is terrified of discovery. As I mentioned in my last video, I think the reason he keeps amending complaints and kicking discovery down the road is because he's terrified of discovery. He's hoping that by prolonging the initial stages long enough that he'll get a settlement or just cause her to run out of money. But the reason he keeps amending is because he is scared of what Kate will be able to find out in discovery. She's going to dust off all those skeletons in his closet and put them on full display for everyone to see. And he is terrified. But he says here he'll have all the evidence once he has a reasonable opportunity for further investigation or discovery. Discovery's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. It, it's ridiculous. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and thereon alleges, that at all times herein mentioned, defendants, Doe 1 through 30, were agents of each other and of the named defendants, and in doing the things alleged in this complaint, were acting in the scope of such agency and with the permission and consent of defendant Catherine Peter. So, once again, it's not an agency, but a little foreshadowing, he knows there is no agency relationship. He knows that there is no agency relationship. And Kate is going to point out one sentence later on and say, hey, look, that he knows there is no agency relationship. This is asinine. Chuck this all out. Peter is the owner, operator, and user of a group messaging platform on the Discord service. The Discord is used by masshole members to conspire directed harassment attacks on multiple victims. The harassment includes email, telephone, and public sharing of personal information that can further be used to harass those individuals, called doxing. Who do we know that is a massive fan of doxing and doxing friends and family? Hmm. Would that be Delete Lawz? I'm gonna dox all of them. I'm gonna dox their friends, their family. I'm gonna get them fired from their jobs. I'm. Is there a reason why we know the name of Blue Bacon's dad and sister, and I think mother? Would that be because Blue Bacon doxed them? Oh, wait, no, that was Delete Lawz that doxed them all. Hmm. Crimes against victims don't stop at harassment, but include vandalism, stalking, harassment of victim family members and employers, and assault. There are over 2,800 masshole members on the Discord account, owned and operated by Peter. Sharing of images, text messaging, and voice chat is available on the Discord. Peter has admitted to tracking plaintiff on the server like an endangered great white on the Discord. And it's funny that he brought that to Massachusetts courts for, well, he brought it to multiple Massachusetts courts trying to get restraining orders. And he was laughed out of the building. Well, laughed off of Zoom because first cause of action for libel, slander, and false light. Almost like those should have been three causes of action. Plaintiff incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 14, inclusive, as though fully set forth herein. Plaintiff, who previously enjoyed a good reputation in the community. I couldn't finish that sentence. Where has he enjoyed a good reputation? In what community? I mean, he didn't need Kate's help to be despised by virtually all of the frauditing community. He came to YouTube because he was run off of TikTok in disgrace, accused of being a racist with a white savior complex. But sure, he had a pure good reputation before that big bad Kate came along, was defamed by plaintiff's assertions that he had once sold the date rape drug and might be a snitch. Will sue us for mocking him. Um, well, you pled guilty to selling GHB. Now, you may say roofies are the date rape drug, not GHB, but GHB is generally referred to as a date rape drug. There are multiple date rape drugs. You claiming, well, only roofies are the date rape drug doesn't make it the case. The DEA even calls GHB a date rape drug. She theorized, based on the records being sealed, that you had probably turned state's witness. That it is her conjecture. So opinion is not defamation. But do you know what you don't want to do, Delete Lawz? If you have sealed records because you snitched, you don't want to then sue, giving Kate the opportunity to rip open those sealed records and expose you as a snitch. You know, are there people, even though you say you had a good reputation in the community, are there people that might want to cause you harm because you snitched? Are you sure this is a good idea? Giving her the chance to obtain the full, unredacted, unsealed records through discovery? That that's stupid. But as we know, he is the stupidest quarter of a man on the planet. A screenshot of the publication containing the defamatory statements is attached to this complaint as Exhibit 1. Let's see, we're on page 5. Exhibit 1. Chili DeCastro once sold the date rape drug and might be a snitch. Will sue us for mocking him. And that's a very bad black and white scan. So I can't remember who this middle one was with a Canadian flag. I'm assuming it's Shiz, Kate, and a Desert Sentinel. 12,716 views as streamed on March 27th, 2022. Was this after Memorial Day? Let's see. I'm going to pull up the calendar on my phone just because that's faster. And let's see. May 2022. Oh no, I was wrong. This was on May 27th, which was a Friday. Memorial Day was on May 30th. So this was before he assaulted Kate. I know he thinks it was the other way around. Such assertions were published to at least one third party. In that YouTube video was viewed 12,716 times as of February 1st, 2023. The number of times the title of the video was read is not available until after discovery. Um, why Why do you need the number of times? If I mean, maybe to prove, "Look, this is the level of damages I suffered because it was viewed this many times," but as far as, like, you know, whether she's committed defamation or not, it doesn't if it's published to one person falsely, but the key word is falsely. Additionally, the video shows up in search results for Chili de Castro, plaintiff's well-known nickname, Jose Maria de Castro, and Delete Lawz, plaintiff's brand. The title of the article constitutes libel per se, and statements in the video made by Peter constitute slander per se, in that they use inaccurate documents acquired from bin verified in violation of their terms of service, partly because of known accuracy issues. A consumer or okay, putting parentheticals in the middle of sentences is such. Ugh. So it constitutes slander per se in that they use inaccurate documents acquired from bin verified, a consumer information service presented as judicial record to assert as factual that plaintiff was convicted of a crime that he in fact did not commit. Now, he mentions that's a violation of their terms of services. He would not be the party to sue Kate for violating their terms of service. The terms of service are between been verified and Kate. There's no privity by Delete Lawz to this. So the terms of service don't matter. But he says she uses inaccurate documents acquired from been verified. Well, would a reasonable person rely on them? Maybe. But here's the thing. I watched the video. It's been a while since I watched the video, but I watched it. And Kate says in the video, it took me a while to do this live stream because my starting point is been verified. But from there, I try to acquire original source documents. In this case, I had very limited success in acquiring those original source documents because I ran into a stone wall from the Los Angeles court system, or district attorneys or whatever. So she was able to get, if I remember right, records of the arrest, but was not able to get specific records of the conviction. And she laid that out. She said, "This is what I was able to get. This is what I was unable to get. These are the conclusions I draw from that." Does that sound like reckless disregard for the truth or falsity? Because it doesn't to me. It sounds like what a reasonable person would do if they're trying to determine the facts, and that's what they're able to get. It sounds like she went above and beyond. Whereas, for example, we're going to see him talk about Team Skeptic here in a little bit. Now, he has called Team Skeptic over and over and over and over and over again. a murderer. Now, Team Skeptic has admitted he has a conviction for vehicular manslaughter. That's terrible. That's terrible. That's awful for the victim. It's awful for Team Skeptic. You can tell he's broken up about it. He hates that it happened. He took responsibility for it. But here's the thing. Delete Lawz calls him over and over and over and over a murderer. But he's not a murderer. He's a manslaughterer. You call him a killer, that's not defamation. You call him a murderer, well, a court found he wasn't a murderer. A court found he was a manslaughterer. But, Kate saying, "These are the records I was able to find. These are and this is the conclusion I take from them," is somehow much, much worse than calling someone a murderer. And, he hears on the street, or maybe it was from Josh Abrams, I don't know. Kate prostituted her own kids and blah, blah, blah. You didn't even get that from Been Verified. You didn't get that from court records. I In what world do you think that's okay? But but this is defamation per se? So, presented as judicial record to assert as factual that plaintiff was convicted of a crime that he, in fact, did not commit. Such statements damaged plaintiff as a natural consequence of the words and amount to libel per se and slander per se. Now, once again, once again, she said she didn't say that you were convicted. She said you had a deferred adjudication. You had a diversion agreement. You had which means you had to plead guilty, but and you received a sentence, but that sentence was deferred and you were a good boy for a short amount of time. Here's the thing. The Boston courts, what when Delete Lawz was going for his restraining order, I guarantee they didn't use been verified to find that deferred prosecution, the diversion agreement. They didn't use been verified. It, so it's been confirmed. It's been verified. Such assertions were false because plaintiff was never convicted of, nor did he plead guilty to selling any drug, especially a date rape drug. We know you took a diversion agreement. I guarantee, though, that he pled guilty as part of that. He was not found guilty. And, well, this could be splitting hairs here. He was, if I remember, it was for manufacturing to sell GHB. So it could very well be, well, I wasn't selling it, but he was manufacturing, which is what the charge was, which is what Kate said. She said it was a manufacturing to sell or charge. That and once again, GH She said GHB. She never said you sold roofies. She said GHB. That's commonly known as the date rape drug, or at least a date rape drug. In fact, in the video, Peter claims that she is unable to get a record from the government. She, if I remember, she didn't say she didn't get any records. She didn't get some of the records she requested. Instead of recognizing that the record doesn't exist, to add to the sting of the story, she asserts that this must mean that plaintiff is a snitch, which e- even you admit it here. She asserts that this must mean that you're a snitch. She doesn't say you are a snitch. She says this must mean if X plus Y, then I think Z. If he was arrested and he's on record, I paid $50,000 to what's his name, one of the OJ Simpson dream team lawyers, Shapiro. I was taken out of the shower by the SWAT team. That you've admitted to it. I mean, you're on video even talking about your GHB charges. But it's logical to assume, well, if it's sealed, why is it sealed? That's one of the main reasons things get sealed. I mean, it could have been expunged. That's unlikely. Even Peter's record from Been Verified shows only an arrest and not a conviction. And that's why she did it. That's why she said what she said. It shows an arrest. You even admit to the arrest. The fact that it doesn't show dismissal, because most cases would either show a conviction or a dismissal. But the fact that it doesn't, you say, I wonder why. Is it because he's a snitch? As an activist, plaintiff is often arrested but has not been convicted, and this country's constitution is based on the principle of innocence until proven guilty. So this has always annoyed me, and not just from Delete Lawz. It's yes, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. But that doesn't mean that you didn't do what you're charged with. There are defenses to crimes other than I didn't do it. And Kate has not said you were convicted of the crime. She said you were charged and received deferred prosecution. The arrest record that Peter pulls from Been Verified shows pos/pure F/sale narc C sub. So possession, purchase, for sale, narcotic, C substance. To add to the sting of the story in excess of the actual alleged judicial record, Peter alleges to have spoken to 4 witnesses in Los Angeles County that say that the drug involved was GHB. Peter, with even additional malice to add more sting than the actual story, falsely asserts that GHB is primarily used as a date rape drug. GHB is used as a date rape drug. It may have legitimate uses. Oxycodone has legitimate uses. It also is used by people to get stoned. As a direct and legal result of Peter's publication and false assertions, plaintiff has suffered the following damages in respect of his property, business, trade, profession, or occupation. Damages in the amount of approximately $50,000 of compensatory damages and special damages according to proof related to emotional distress. Okay. I'd like to see where he pulled that number out of. Statements were not privileged because they were published to YouTube and not to an internal method between people with a shared interest. Plaintiff demanded a retraction within the statutory period, and a retraction has still not been published. Instead, Peter said, "Sue me." See her video titled "Still Waiting for My Lawsuit" in Exhibit 3. Defendant knew that such statements were false or acted with reckless disregard as to their truth or falsity, in that she knew that she did not have an official judicial record, yet she didn't even report accurately on the record that she did have from the consumer database. Second cause of action for battery. Now, remember how he said, well, the majority of the actions took place in Los Angeles? Well, no. Unless there's a time space anomaly and somehow Stoneham, Massachusetts is in Los Angeles. No. Plaintiff incorporates, by reference, the above paragraphs. On May 30th, 2022, Peter traveled to the Memorial Day Parade in Boston just to confront plaintiff. In her YouTube video titled, "Chili, I'm so sorry that I upset you. Josh Abrams is my knight in shining Puma." Recorded on the same day, she admits to this. Additionally, there are witnesses in the video that describe the existence of video evidence showing that she battered me multiple times. Where? Every person I heard in any of the videos said you were the one battering her. In the video, Peter states, "I'm driving across town and checking in with Discord. Is he still there? Is he still there? Because he's squirrely. I went down there to have a confrontation with him, and he isn't getting away until that happened." At the parade, she did in fact touch me multiple times without my permission, only to annoy, harass, offend, and cause me mental distress. She did in fact annoy, harass, offend, and cause me mental distress. Plaintiff went to the local police department, Worcester, Massachusetts, and filed a police report. Now, this was a big mistake on Kate's part. Well, there is a big mistake on Kate's part. Now, if you recall the video, a- after Delete Lawz lowered his camera and wildly backed up into her and elbowed her camera out of her hands, and then asked the police officer right there, "Can I defend myself?" and hit her. And the police officer said, "No. In fact, you're the one hitting her. You're the one attacking her. You're the one who just elbowed her. You're the one who, as she's walking behind you, keeps basically checking her, stopping abruptly, and shouldering back into her. You're the one causing the contact. If anyone, she can ask for criminal charges." And Kate to her credit, normally said, "I'm not a whiny little bitch. I don't need criminal charges against him." That's unfortunate because it would have only served to help her now. In a normal situation, it's not a big deal. But when you're dealing with someone like Delete Lawz, who isn't a good faith actor, who is willing to lie to his advantage at every opportunity, even if it's caught on camera, you need to take the advantage. You need to be on the offensive. Hell, if I'm Kate, I go to the Stoneham, Massachusetts, and I say, "Hey, Sergeant, remember me from the Memorial Day parade? Remember the video that was brought to you? I'd like to press charges." Assuming, 10 months hasn't gone outside the statute of limitations yet. It very well could have. I don't, like I said, I'm a Utah lawyer. I don't know Massachusetts law. I don't know their statutes of limitations. On July 22nd, 2022, while I was at the Tahlequah Courthouse in Oklahoma and was participating in a press release for a friend, a man that I only know as J.L. Warren, who is a dues paying member of the Masshole Troll Mafia, showed up there and purposely ran into me and then tried to have me arrested for battery. Funny enough, this one is also on video. It's almost like, so he he showed up there and purposely ran into me. Um, Now this is for one of the Deborah Rogers court hearings, and Delete Lawz made that an issue of public interest. So for a local YouTuber to show up, it, is Delete Lawz the only one allowed to stream on the scene? J- Why can't JL Warren? But but he says JL purposely ran into him and tried to have him arrested for battery. Well, it's on video. JL was there with an older man. I don't know how old. I mean, hell, JL is younger than I thought JL was, but that's beside the point. Delete Lawz went charging at the older man, and JL stepped in front of him to keep him away from the older man. Like, and there was basically the width of JL, which is substantial. He's, I'm not calling him fat. He's a broad man. He's a big man. It's almost like he stepped in to protect the older man from assault by Delete Lawz. And that's on video. And there were cops there, and the Delete Lawz whined to them too. They didn't do anything. It's almost like this is a nothing burger. Mr. Warren has written me dozens of emails and hundreds of text messages harassing me. I've clearly stated to Mr. Warren that I wish no contact with him and that I am not interested in interacting with him. On the same day, he purposely ran into me. He called the police on me and tried to press charges against me for battery. I was temporarily detained by police. It was terrifying because Mr. Warren caused physical contact between us. Thus, I was unaware if I would be arrested or not. Mr. Warren continues to contact me to this day and proudly proclaims I am a paying member of Masshole Troll Mafia. You can sue me, Chili. Instead, he sues Kate for the actions of J.L. Warren. Uh, I mean, he sues Kate and Doe's 1 through 30 for the actions of J.L. Warren. J.L. Warren If he were sued, this would amount to nothing. But once again, he went there of his own accord. He went there for content for his own YouTube channel. How is that Kate's fault? It's not. Third cause of action for trespass. Plaintiff incorporates blah, blah, blah. At several of the places where I have rented property, I have suffered trespass from Peter and her associates, where they entered onto the property without permission and committed harm against the property and myself to terrorize me, and in fact did cause significant harm, fear, and caused damage, or significant alarm, fear, and caused damage to the property that required cleanup and repair. On August 8th, 2022, my van was stolen from the driveway. Masshole members on Discord have taken credit for stealing said vehicle, claiming they stole it. Two things. Well, three things. If you just stop, just stop. I know it's amusing, but stop. You're just causing trouble for Kate. Because Delete Lawz is either too stupid to understand sarcasm, or he doesn't care because he's a bad actor and will use obvious sarcasm to achieve his ends. But the other two things, number one, there's a police report that has the alleged thief. So there's that. And number two, that alleged thief in the police report is not Kate. And neither is the people in the Discord that he claims have taken credit for it. But once again, okay, we are on page 8. Let's go back down to the exhibits. Exhibit 1, you know, Chili DeCastro once sold the date rape drug and might be a snitch. Will sue us for mocking him. Exhibit 2, Kate always wins. With the wine glass as a card. Exhibit 3, a list of Kate's videos where she talks about him. Anything he's alleging, well, that they're talking about me in Discord. Why is that not an exhibit? Why? Where is it? It's a conclusory statement. He's the like I said, he is the conclusory king. He can't do anything. On August 19th, 2022, in a video where Peter published the findings of Denver Metro PD on my stolen van, she published the address where I was staying in Denver on her Discord. He had already left Denver at that point. But once again, he doxes everyone. That's fine. But she posted an official public record. That she posted an official public record. That's not trespass. That's not trespass. Oh, but he came back to Denver. He had vacated the Airbnb. She published the police report, and then he came back to Denver. Soon after, Peter and or an associate, because Peter magically, arrived in Denver just for that, left a bag of dog feces and a card on the front door. I went to open the store, which had a lever type doorknob. When I pushed it down, the lever came off the security door. Under my fingers, I felt a gooey brown substance. I immediately dropped the lever. It fell next to the bag of dog feces on my welcome mat. Next, my dog ran up and began licking up the brown gooey substance. I yelled for him to stop. I smelled my hand. It was chocolate. I looked around. The handmade card on the door read, Kate always wins. I would be interested. I mean, it won't happen, but it would be interesting if a forensic analysis were conducted on the card. Because delete laws, like I said, I fully believe he manufactured that. He manufactured that incident. There's just no way because he's as comfortable lying as he is talking. If his gums are flapping, I assume he is lying. On October 25th, 2022, while I was staying at a friend's house, my friend checked the mail and found a threatening letter in his mailbox. The letter stated, Dear Jose de Castro, I'm requesting you retract any and all lawsuits for a certain individual. If you proceed with the lawsuits, I will be forced and will post your current address and location. Sir, these little games you play have gone too far and you will be dealt with accordingly. You can run and hide, but we can find you anywhere and anytime. It wasn't hard to locate the address you are currently at, so tell Peter G. Hi. Address. Correct address of my location redacted. So here are the terms. Retracts all lawsuits and take down your YouTube channel and find a different profession because you suck as a constitutional law scholar. Signed, we don't stop. Once again, I don't believe that's real. I believe that's manufactured. But even if it's not, even if it's not, does that sound an awful lot like the email he sent to Blue Bacon recently? Uh, I think this is confession through projection. This is something he does to other people, therefore, other people must do it to him, even if he has to be the one doing it. While visiting a friend in New Hampshire and Boston in late August, early September, Catherine Peter and or her household members left a handful of balloons and a large handmade sign, 3 feet by 5 feet, that read Kate's Tea Party, that were left at my friend's residence attached to the old school mailbox. The location is a 450-acre estate deep in the countryside of New Hampshire. For someone to get to the location in New Hampshire, driving more than an hour into the countryside is required. Thus, this wasn't a small endeavor. It took at least one full day to accomplish, and likely two people to erect the gifts left behind. How Catherine Peter knew my location is beyond incredible and would have required massive surveillance or even tracking device placed on my auto. Or, hear me out, this is also fake. This is also fake. During that same trip to visit a friend, Peter stalked and marked my location for her troll mafia to then target me at that location. Brazenly, Peter took a picture of herself sitting outside of the apartment's lobby where I was temporarily residing. So let's take a look at that. Let so he claims, well, let's pull up the post. Yes, I still do search for it under Masshole Report. So he says, she stalked and marked my location for her troll mafia to then target me at that location. Let's find it. And I briefly saw we stand with Arizona Jeep Girl. It's almost like like I said, he can blackmail, he can dox, he can harass. Getting close. Okay, here's the post in question. What a beautiful night in downtown Boston last night. Sitting in front of a glass window on an ornate carved stone bench. Is there any mention of Delete Lawz? No. Is there any mention of the location other than downtown Boston? No. But, but, I'm not going to look this up because I don't like going to his channel. I don't like giving him views. But contemporaneously with this, there are videos of him live streaming from the penthouse, which, due to its prominent location in downtown Boston and its view of the harbor, it showed pretty clearly where he was streaming from. He doxed himself. But Kate taking a picture and saying, "What a beautiful night in downtown Boston," is apparently stalking, marking his location for her troll mafia to then target and find me at that location. They, they make it a game. You live stream and give location data and they find you. You may not like that, but live stream inside. Don't show windows with distinct features. Don't show signs. Peter then posted the picture on her YouTube community page that includes over 30,000 Masshole members, marking my location for further attacks. This is the reason DeCastro fled to the New Hampshire estate, only to be stalked and marked by Peter and her troll mafia again. DeCastro immediately left the estate and the East Coast after Peter had marked his location yet again. And yet you're suing for this in California. Funny. Fourth cause of action: harassment and civil conspiracy. Plaintiff incorporates blah, blah, blah. Peter made her first YouTube video harassing me on April 3rd, 2022. The video was titled BSBT is insane, Delete Lawz grift, Turtle Boy goes full auditard. The video was over 1 hour long. The video said I was running a grift and a scheme, that I was a schmuck and a soft-sit schmuck from YouTube. Next, on that video, Peter visits the product store on my website, degrading and disparaging my product offering, including calling a t-shirt I sell a shitty Microsoft Word font typed t-shirt, which is not true. What? That it's not Microsoft Word font? It, is that disparagement? I mean, her calling it shitty is her opinion. That's that's not that's not allowed now. And he doesn't say his trifold here, but this section is referring to his trifold, his indestructible trifold. She continued to state, "I'm gonna recreate this shit poster, and I'm going to sell them for $48, and it'll be no profit whatsoever. It'll be exactly what it costs to print on Vistaprint," painting me in a negative light by porting that the markup of the products on my online store is a scam, grift, or con. She goes on to also threaten to copy my products and sell them at cost just to hurt my business. Which she didn't do. Sh she's not allowed to joke about doing that, which she didn't do. But saying the high markup is the scam, no, the content is the scam. Your trifold is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Virtually every single issue you discuss, every single case you cite, you are wrong. You are wrong. Just for an example, Tech Lines versus Danforth. That has absolutely no meaning outside of the state of Mississippi, and it does not stand for the proposition that you claim it does. You are a charlatan, and selling damaging information, false information, is a scam. It is a grift. You are going to get someone killed. You are going to get people arrested that don't need to be arrested. That got me a little heated. These are statements that she makes on camera to her 30,000 troll mafia members. As she is fraudulently representing my product lines, several other of Peter's associates speaking during the video make various defamatory claims about me. Such as, such as, although the first video that Peter made was about plaintiff, who is not a public figure or a limited public figure, the video soon turned into directly harassing me by being directed at me. It's almost like it's because you responded. You responded to her, so she started making videos to you. This if you had laughed it off, if you had ignored it, she would have moved on a year ago. See the titles of later videos like "Sorry Chili," another one of your failures with more to follow. Additionally, Peter has recorded these harassing videos even in contempt of court orders in a federal lawsuit. Remind me, Has Kate been found in contempt? No. No. So it's almost like there are no court orders telling her not to make videos about him. Peter published a video that said, among other things, because you are a quarter of a man. In her video, what to do if you get doxxed. Chili is a quarter of a man. And here's the thing. He says, Peter has recorded these harassing videos, even in contempt of court orders in a federal lawsuit. Peter published a video that said, among other things, because you are a quarter of a man. He ran to the court after she published that video. He ran to the court asking for contempt because of the quarter of a man video. And the court said, this is not contempt. The video that she made after federal court judge Allison D. Burroughs ordered, among other things, defendants are ordered not to engage in any threatening, harassing, illegal, or otherwise inappropriate behavior when engaging with each other. And the judge found that was not a violation of her order. And it's especially not grounds for you to sue in Los Angeles. A motion for contempt against Peter is currently pending in that court, but not for that. Not for that. Peter has made 70 videos totaling over 170 hours of content about plaintiff. I would counter 70 videos partly about plaintiff. So that 170 hours of total videos, it usually devolves into something else. So frequently does she has multiple subjects. Just like the first video she mentions, BSBT is a moron. Delete Lawz is a fraud, or whatever the title is. And Turtle Boy goes full frauditard. That's 3 subjects. But since he's the main character, that whole video is about him. These videos did seriously alarm and annoy me, and did cause me substantial emotional distress and financial loss. You taking down your website for months at a time also caused you financial loss. And it's almost like, how many subscribers did you have when Kate started making videos about you? And how many do you have now? It's gone up. It's almost like the drama drives engagement. Hmm. On May 3rd, 2022, Peter and her associates called my phone approximately 100 times while I was recording a video that I was broadcasting live to my audience just to troll me. I was doing a live fundraiser for a Native American woman that had been illegally arrested on her tribal lands, and I was trying to call her when the telephone harassment began. Um, I've got news for you. Deborah Rogers was not illegally arrested. You say conclusorily that she was illegally arrested. She's still facing charges for that. Her lawsuit was, well, is there a lawsuit even? I- If there was, it was left out of court. Uh, You say she was illegally arrested. It's that I believed had been illegally arrested, but you're throwing this around as if it's a fact with your conclusory statement. And Once again, you say Peter and her associates called my phone approximately 100 times. Do you have Kate Peter telling people, "Hey, let's all call Chili"? No, but you have published your telephone number on live streams multiple times. Multiple times. I'd say dozens of times even. There are people who don't like you who watch. Kate isn't responsible for those people who don't like you. Not everyone who dislikes you watches Kate even. People shouldn't be doing this. If you are doing this, stop. You're just making things harder for Kate. But once again, Kate is not responsible for the actions of others. This is asinine. Peter and her associates were watching my live stream and determined when it would be best to harass me. For example, when I needed to use my phone, they called the phone approximately 100 times. You can see this in my video titled Deborah's Story: Fake Law versus Real Law. Ironton Bad Practices Fundraiser for Deborah. Um, what was Kate doesn't tend to live stream in the afternoon. This would have been in the afternoon, I believe. And she I don't know that I've ever seen her live reacting to his live videos. She does playbacks. So, for starters, unless she's live streaming it, how does he know that she's watching it with her associates? Where's his evidence that she was watching it? But once again, people don't need Kate to say, "Hey, you know what would be funny?" Which, once again, don't do that. It's stupid. But it's at timestamp 14:58 to 24:36. Even after I put my phone in do not disturb mode, the harassing texts were continuously coming in and audibly disturbing my phone call with my video guest for the fundraiser. And I'm sure Kate's phone number is on all of them. The repeated telephone calls and text messages impacted the fundraising and seriously annoyed and harassed my guest and me. The video is available on YouTube at the following URL. After I was off air, I had approximately 100 missed calls. I tried calling one of the numbers back, and it was a Google Voice number that Catherine Peter had set up with a voicemail message in her voice that said, "I told you to never threaten me, Chili." At the sound of the beep, I left a message and asked her to stop contacting me. Peter also hired a man that I know only as Todd Lyon, the return of Todd Lyon, ugh, that attempted to befriend me and then betray me. Todd and I talked several times by email, text, telephone, and even video chat. Eventually, Mr. Lyon admitted that he had been paid $1,000 to attempt to get close to me and then sabotage me. Mr. Lyon has prepared affidavits attesting to these facts. He has also said that you threatened him into preparing those affidavits. That could very well be witness tampering. I don't think you want to get Todd Lyon in court. I still, like I said, discussing The Boston lawsuit at the beginning of this video. I still don't know who Todd Lyon is and what his role in this is, because I don't believe a single word from Delete Lawz. Peter and her associates have repeatedly emailed, cyberstalked, stalked, harassed, and trespassed at my residence. Additionally, they commit wholesale copyright infringement of my creative content in order to harass me. I have a pending federal lawsuit over the wholesale copyright infringement. Then why mention it here? These people have even harassed my dog, Charlie. How? They say they want to free Charlie from you. They think that they say living in the front seat of your van is no life for a dog. But how have they harassed Charlie directly? Defendants further refuse to honor any harassment cease requests or cease demands. There are additional events that discovery will reveal and proof provided at trial. Additional events that discovery will reveal. Discovery is an invasive process, but you can't say, "Well, I don't have a cause of action now, but I think I'll have one once I do discovery." That's not how it works. That's not allowed. The masshole members work together to harass me for clout in the organization and continues clear conspiracy. The defendants work together in an agreement to commit these wrongful acts. Show any such agreement. Fifth cause of action for stalking, cyber stalking, and civil conspiracy. Plaintiff incorporates blah blah blah. Although the Discord was originally created in October of 2019, it gained more users when Peter advertised it on her YouTube channel on May 25th, 2022. She has advertised it since October of 2019. She didn't start advertising it for you. She specifically advertised that on the Discord they would establish a Chili Watch page. This was to both stream my copyright videos so that Chili won't get the YouTube views. And he quotes this, but he provides no attribution whatsoever. Mm. And to track him like an endangered great white shark. Peter has also used Wicker group chat in order to track and coordinate harassment and stalking of me. Prove it. Seriously, prove it. Kate says she had never heard of Wicker before you accused her of using it. I certainly hadn't. Further, Masshole members have written in the Discord account and directly contacted me via email that they have planted an Apple AirTag, a commercial tracking device, in/on my vehicle, which made sense to me because they have consistently found my exact location, even today as I write this complaint. How many vehicles have you gone through since that alleged, once again, what they've written in the Discord account and directly contacted me via email. Where's the where's the screenshot of the Discord? Where's the email? Oh, they don't exist. And I mean, I've seen a lot of chatter about AirTags, but that's because you have an inordinate amount of AirTags on your Amazon wish list. Peter and several of her masshold members have written and stated aloud on Peter's videos that they are actively tracking me like an endangered great white shark or extinct megalodon. As of February 3rd, 2023, and that all happened in Massachusetts, by the way. As of February 3rd, 2023, while live streaming a video titled "The Camera is What You Make Power Makes You Powerful," a masshole member posted my exact location in the live chat. And who was that? Was it Kate? No. You say a masshole member. What's their name in your chat? What's the message? And once again, he broadcasts his location and then is shocked when people know his location. The masshole member went as far as to create a fake username in the true name of the friend's house that I was at. I ended the stream to ensure my location was safe. I informed my friend that someone has created his exact name as a YouTube username, and he immediately stated his concern for his safety and mine. He did not ask me to leave. So it damaged your friend, but not you, yet your friend is not part of the lawsuit. It didn't really damage him. It He did not ask me to leave, which has happened to me in the past when being stalked by Peter and her troll mafia. Nobody feels comfortable when a troll mafia publicly doxes your exact location. It causes immediate concern for safety. Peter cannot control the 30,000 masshole troll mafia members' actions, and she's stated this clearly several times in the past. Obvious malicious intentions exist to cause me and my loved ones fear and panic, which does in fact cause the fear and panic. Now, remember how I stated earlier that I'd get to a specific sentence that describes why he knows full well that there is no agency relationship. Everyone he accuses of acting on Kate's behalf, unless he has direct evidence of Kate telling people, do this for me, it's not her fault. Peter cannot control the 30,000 plus masshole troll mafia members' actions, and she's stated this clearly several times in the. If she can't control them, they're not her agents. I mean, she can't control them, but she's responsible for their alleged actions. He is the dumbest quarter of a man alive. I have been stalked and harassed at my residences. Remember, he said, at all times I have resided in Santa Monica, California. I have been stalked at and harassed at my residences in New Hampshire, Boston, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, and California. I have suffered from vandalism. My van was stolen, likely by Peter and or her associates. If I'm Kate, i- is accusing her of a crime of dishonesty not defamation? Yes, his van was probably stolen, but he's accusing Kate of doing it with no evidence. Okay. My van was stolen, likely by Peter and or her associates. Masshole troll mafia members on Discord have taken credit for the stealing of my van, stating that it's underwater and it will never be found. Now, have they said I stole it? It's underwater and will never be found. No. This is them saying Delete Lawz is committing insurance fraud, and he sunk it to collect the insurance premium. That's what that statement is. It is he's so stupid, he doesn't understand that they're theorizing that he did it, and he takes that because I mean, he says Discord members have taken credit for the stealing of my van, and then he gives the quote, "It's underwater and will never be found." So the logical reading of that sentence is that this is the taking credit for stealing the van he's claiming. But this is the theorizing that he made the van disappear. It's underwater. Is it really possible to be this stupid or this dishonest? In the Discord, there is a page called Chili Watch, where my location has been constantly and consistently tracked, and Peter and her masshole associates have used this information to cause damage, intimidate, and instill fear into me, but more importantly, to the people around me. I've been stalked since June of 2022, nonstop, and it's still going on today, right now. It does not matter what I'm doing, where I'm going, or who I'm with. If I am live streaming while filling my car up with gas, people from Catherine Peters' Troll Mafia will start calling the gas station attendant at the gas station. Um, then don't live stream while you're filling up gas. Look, I realize that would be a blow to your narcissism, but don't live stream while you're filling your car. And once again, how do you know this is someone from Kate's Troll Mafia? How do you know it's a member of the Discord? A uh, member of the YouTube, n not a subscriber, but a paying member. And once again, what damage has this done? It's real, and this entire scenario is on video that will be available at trial. The hosts of accommodations where I stay when I am traveling the country are contacted by telephone, email, and messages through Airbnb. Masshole members will then warn the people who are providing my Airbnb. Did you know that DeCastro is a dangerous man who carries guns and is wanted by the police in multiple states? Which isn't true. Bull. Well, he's wanted by multiple jurisdictions in Ohio. He I don't know that he was issued a warrant for either the Arizona or California speeding tickets. I think for some he pled guilty, for some he was just I don't follow him that close. On July 29th, 2022, I was attending an MMA gym in Denver, Colorado. A charity event fight promoter and I and a former police officer, isn't Chad Gu a current police officer? Were putting together a charity event wherein all the profits, including the officers' pay and mine, would be donated to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. We had sold almost 1,000 tickets, $40 each, for the event that I took seriously. Thus, I temporarily moved to Denver to join my good friend's MMA training center called 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu. On this day, July 29th, 2022, the owner of the gym, my 20-year-long friend, who is unnamed, sent me a text message issuing me a refund and simply stating, "I'm sorry, Chili, I can't get the Google ratings down like." this. I'm being harassed like you don't even understand. I just can't. I'm sorry. The harassment of said gym owner continued for several months, even after I left. And yet, the gym owner is not suing. And once again, do you have evidence that Kate contacted the gym owner? You have evidence that Kate left Google reviews? No. Imagine that. Approximately August 1st, 2022, after being a member of Airbnb since 2010, I was unceremoniously and immediately kicked out of my Airbnb in Denver, Colorado. Maybe because you smeared Nutella on the door. Airbnb would not reveal the reasons why. I've rented hundreds of locations from Airbnb since 2010. As an ad executive in New York City, it's imperative to have the ability to be able to rent Airbnbs quickly. You're not an ad executive in New York City. I mean, what he's not an ad executive in New York City at the moment. So what does that have anything to do with anything? On this date, Airbnb suspended my account indefinitely. You've been assessed to be a risk factor. You are to immediately pack your belongings and leave the Airbnb. The host has canceled your month long reservation. This on day 2 of the 30-day stay. Please stand by for a phone call from the Airbnb safety and security team. On that phone call, I was told that Airbnb had been alerted that I am armed and dangerous. Are you carrying a gun? Is there a gun in the Airbnb? Of course not. However, a man named Sean OD, who goes by the name Irish Demon on YouTube and is also a dues paying member of Masshole, previously had posted on his LinkedIn page that he worked as customer service for Airbnb for over 6 years. So, someone who is not Kate previously worked for Airbnb. Is this guy serious? I mean, it's asinine. It is plaintiff's intention to subpoena Airbnb to find out exactly what happened on August 1st, 2022. Mr. DeCastro has never been asked to leave any rental property from Airbnb and has maintained a perfect 5-star rating on the application since 2010. After threatening a lawsuit, Airbnb restored permissions to my account in December of 2022, but I haven't seen the documents yet that caused the suspension. So you're now allowed on Airbnb. On August 10th, 2022, Peter made a YouTube video falsely reporting that my van was repossessed, simply to further harm my reputation and to further harass me. This, even after she had obtained the Denver Police Department report that my van was indeed stolen. Denver police would later arrest and charge a woman for stealing my van. Peter has made no retraction or corrected her erroneous reporting. Um, Kate has said it looks like it was stolen. She reported on the arrest. She am I imagining that? She reported the arrest. And once again, did she falsely report that your van was repossessed, or did she theorize that it was either repossessed or that you got rid of it to commit insurance fraud? And once again, the getting rid of it for insurance fraud doesn't preclude a Denver Police Department report. Or even if it is repossessed, and then you call the police and say, "Hey, my van's been stolen." That still generates a report. On October 6th, 2022, while me and my roommate were walking home from the market in Santa Monica, California, well, maybe 50 yards from my permanent residence, a man pulled up to us in a vehicle with Florida license plate and yelled, "I see you, Chili. I know where you live. Kate always wins." And he also said, I, he complimented Scott Condon, didn't he? He waved, and Scott Condon cheerfully waved back. And once again, this was not Kate. This caused great alarm and fear in my roommate and myself. We went through weeks of infighting because my roommate feared for his autistic son's safety. It's beyond reasonable for masshole troll mafia members to show up at my house and threaten me, my roommate, and my safety. Um, what was the threat? I see you. That's a threat. And once again, this caused great alarm and fear in my roommate and myself. It's on video. The roommate happily waved. My mother, immediate and extended family members, as well as dozens of my small town friends in Alaska, have received many harassing phone calls. I graduated with 62 young men in 1992. Most of them have been contacted by masshole troll mafia members. My roommate, David Condon, oh, I said Scott Condon, David Condon, has received harassment, trespass, and vandalism. Previous investors, colleagues, and coworkers have received both calls questioning who I am and also warning that I have become a danger to them and they should stay away from me if they know what's good for them. One of Peter's associates, that I know as David Omo, that's Team Skeptic, has has been continuously emailing me, often multiple times a day. Omo's email content has escalated to warnings of violence and then to actual threats of violence, including references to his felony criminal record to make them more credible. And once again, Delete Lawz, doxed Team Skeptic, brought up his criminal record, has called him multiple times, called him a murderer, which is defamation, and has brought Team Skeptic to court. In fact, it was Los Angeles Superior Court. Team Skeptic is not under legal jeopardy in Los Angeles Superior Court. Also, Team Skeptic is not Kate Peter. I have had dog poop left on my porch, my outside door handle covered in what looks like poop, and my external door handle removed. I have received gifts of balloons and cards about Kate's tea party left at my residence. Peter has posted pictures of herself on her YouTube page in front of one of my temporary residences. Peter has paid a man $1,000 to try to get close to me and sabotage me. I have the receipts and the man's affidavit stating these facts. As a result of the foregoing, I have legitimately feared for the safety of myself, my family members, and my associates, and am constantly in a state of alarm. The masshole troll mafia members work together to stalk me for clout in the organization, and this constitutes clear conspiracy. The defendants work together in an agreement to commit these wrongful, illegal acts. There are additional events that discovery will reveal, and proof will be provided at trial. In this scope, but not limited to it, Catherine Peter will stalk, harass, and assault any person who plaintiff DeCastro recognizes or associates with. From August 27th until September 11th, 2022, Catherine Peter tracked, stalked, and harassed Zane Kane, the man whose residence DeCastro had stayed in New Hampshire and Boston. When they could not affect Mr. Kane, Troll Mafia members then found the owners of the property where Mr. Kane was residing. Troll Mafia members warned the landowners, a Harvard professor and her husband, a venture capitalist, that Mr. Kane's friend, DeCastro, was armed, dangerous, and wanted by the FBI. All lies. Yes, this is all lies. I mean, without actual proof, I don't believe a single word he says. Plaintiff DeCastro had already left the East Coast and was not there to defend these lies. Mr. Kane was fired from his job and lost both of his residences as a result of the stalking. And yet, Jose DeCastro sues. Peter would go on to make several videos about Mr. Kane, who had no relationship with her and had never even met her. Um, did she make videos of him before he showed up in court to serve her? And you don't have to have met someone to make videos about them. She found his sovereign citizen RV video and it's hilarious. So she made fun of it. She found his creepy massage video and she made fun of it. Other than that, has she a- and seeing him in court, of course, has she had contact with him? Like really, not imaginary contact made up by Delete Laws? Approximately January 27th, 2022, plaintiff DeCastro publicly recognized a YouTuber named Regan Benson. 3 days later, on January 30th, 2022, defendant Peter made a video about Regan Benson titled The Regan Benson and Denver Metro Audits Mystery. This is an attempt to alienate and disrupt the First Amendment auditor community that DeCastro is a part of. Regan Benson had never previously been mentioned or referred to by Catherine Peter. Now, that says January 27th and 2022 and January 30th. We're on page 16. Oh, it's gonna be faster to find on my phone, unfortunately. When was the first video made? Let's see. Streamed 10 months ago. April 3rd, 2022. So her first video about Delete Laws was April 3rd, 2022. This BSBT is insane. April 3rd, 2022. But she got in her TARDIS and went back to January 27th, 2022, where she publicly recognized a YouTuber named Regan Benson and made a video about Regan Benson titled The Regan Benson and Denver Metro Audits Mystery. And she did that to alienate Delete Lawz from the First Amendment auditor community. Or could it be well, no, that it would be, he says, a video. So let from January. Streamed 9 days ago. So 3 days later on January 30th, 2022, although I find the video from January 30th, 2023, the Reagan Benson and Denver Metro Audits Mystery. By January 30th, 2023, Delete Lawz had a terrible reputation in the First Amendment auditor community. They hated him. Long Island Audits thinks he's a joke. He hates him. Denver Metro Audits hates him. But this is Kate's fault. And making videos about Reagan Benson and Denver Metro Audits is somehow a tort against Delete Lawz. Make this make sense, because I can't. I seriously can't. It's sixth cause of action for assault. Plaintiff incorporates by reference, blah, blah, blah. On October 14th, a member of Masshole Troll Mafia, who I know only as Dan Clement, began plotting to get into a physical altercation with me in order to, at his own admission, cause me to lose possession of my firearm. Now, is Dan Clement Kate Peter? No. Clement had been in a fight in his past where he had a restraining order placed on him, and so he was aware of the repercussions of them. He wanted to use this tactic to cause me to lose my firearm. On October 17th, armed with bear spray and a tape measure to measure my height, Clement used the group's Discord Chili Watch page to receive coordinates, plan, and get real-time logistics of my location from several other Masshole Troll Mafia members who were tracking my location in real time. Or it's almost like live streaming on Hollywood Boulevard is pretty distinct. You doxed yourself. Don't get me wrong. Clement was a dumbass here. This was stupid of him. Clement quickly found me while I was working as a reporter for my YouTube channel and engaged with officers of the Los Angeles Police Department. While busy working, Clement, with the help of the Discord Chili Watch tracking page created by Peter, Clement approached me and said, "Kate always wins." Then he repeated it. "Kate always wins, Chili." I addressed Clement Then I asked him to leave me alone and I walked the other way. Every action I'm describing here is on video for this court to review. Um, so Clement, with the help of the Discord Chili Watch tracking page created by Peter, that's on video for the court to review. Strange. Clement followed me and said that he could beat me up. I'd hold you down and then ground and pound you. Look how little you are, he exclaimed. Again, I walked away, went the other way, and quickly down the block to avoid having to protect myself from this stalker. While down the block, moments later, Clement approached me again and somehow managed to corner me. After trying to go left, Clement blocked me. I tried to go right. Clement blocked my path. I took a fighting stance, ready to defend myself, announced to Clement that I would now begin an offensive defense. Now that I was visibly angry and ready to defend myself, Clement ran away, quite literally crying, "Please don't hurt me! Please don't beat me up! I'm sorry!" Clement was then assisted by people who plaintiff could only believe were members of Catherine Peters' Troll Mafia Club, who came to Clement's assistance. Yeah, if that's the only thing you could, I mean, they were clearly there and didn't appreciate what they saw, didn't appreciate being on camera. They're most likely gang members. But that's, once again, Kate's fault. Because Kate can't control anyone, but anything anyone does is Kate. Clement would then appear on Peter's Discord and claim victory for trolling me. Remember, Clement brought with him bear spray, rope, and a measuring tape, which would cause any reasonable person to fear for their safety. I did believe that I was going to be attacked by Clement. Clement did, in fact, threaten me, both verbally and was using physically menacing body maneuvering. I believed that he was going to carry out a physical attack onto me. Clement did, in fact, stalk me, menace me, and cause me ongoing mental distress, fear, and alarm. Clement continues to contact me to this day. And yet, you sue Kate. Make it make sense. Seventh cause of action for economic interference. Plaintiff incorporates blah, blah, blah. On May 2nd, 2022, Peter contacted David Condon, an accredited investor who had previously invested in my company. Condon had invested approximately $100,000 into my ventures through the years, and he and I had forged a close relationship. Condon told me that Peter wanted to interview him about my previous tech venture. Condon agreed, and on May 3rd, 2022, the two talked at length on the phone. During the conversation, Peter did her best to paint me in a negative light. Condon has prepared an affidavit and will testify at trial. So, if NBC News contacts an associate of Elon Musk, let's say an investor of Elon Musk, an early investor in Tesla, and says, "I'd like to interview about Elon Musk." And they have to be complimentary about Elon Musk in the interview. It's the exact same thing here. Contacting someone for press activities is legal. It's obviously, don't keep contacting them over and over if they say, "Leave me alone." If they say, I don't want to be interviewed, once you're done, don't harass them. You know, follow up phone calls if you have more questions. Yeah, that's probably fine. But, Delete Lawz claims to be a First Amendment auditor. He's a champion of the First Amendment. Freedom of the press includes talking to potential sources, doesn't it? On July 6th, 2022, Peter called Condon dozens and dozens of times and sent him approximately 100 text messages. Mr. Condon is an accredited investor and a 65-year-old man. The messages and people on the phone only said one thing, and the test messages said the same thing. That message was Kate always wins. Um, and you've submitted Mr. Condon's phone records showing call flooding? No. You you have that it was Kate? I mean, you say later the messages and people on the phone, so that's people, not Kate. People Kate can't control and yet is responsible for. Make it make sense. Peter knew of the agreement between Condon and I. Peter intended to cause a breach of contract and did in fact harm the business relationship. Although Condon has prepared an affidavit, Peter's conduct was a substantial factor in Condon not investing in any further in my projects. Um, she contacted to ask about coded friends, I think. I seriously don't see harm in that. It's eh, eighth cause of action for right to publicity torts. Plaintiff incorporates by reference paragraphs 1 through 14 inclusive, blah, blah, blah. Defendants have used my likeness to advertise most of their YouTube videos about me. The defendants gained a commercial benefit because their following, as well as my following, were looking for content about me and used the images to find the content, which earned advertising revenue for the defendants. I was harmed by not having that ad revenue myself, by the videos containing negative content about me, and because, as a trained actor, I charge fees and have been paid for my likeness. As a direct result, I suffered financial loss, momentum to grow my brand, humiliation, embarrassment, mental distress, and economic harm. Well, I mean, momentum to grow his brand. You'd almost think like it's giving him exposure, but that's not how this works. Does If the New York Times does a story about Elon Musk and puts a picture of Elon Musk on the front page, do they pay him for the use of his likeness? No. Imagine that. Now, I think I haven't seen it from Kate, but I've seen some people I think their merch goes a little too close to the line. And I don't know that they do it with Delete Laws, but I think some people have gone a little too close to the line with merch, selling a T-shirt with the likeness or something a little too close to the likeness. I don't think Kate has. I mean, I think she's done headphones and red glasses, but that's not his likeness. Prayer for relief. Plaintiff prays for judgment against defendants and each of them as follows. 1. Enter an injunction for any and all appropriate injunctive relief, including but not limited to issuing a retraction in substantially as conspicuous a manner as the original defamatory statements were published and broadcast, and removing the defamatory information from all places where it is currently published online. 2. A declaration that the defamatory statements were untrue. 3. An injunction prohibiting defendant from repeating such defamatory statements. 4. Declare, a judge, and decree defendants violated the relevant provisions of California Civil Code. 5. Order defendants to pay $750 to plaintiff for his right to publicity violation in pursuant of Civil Code 3344A. Order 6. Order defendants to pay $500 to license my likeness for each use customary to my sitting rate. 7. Order defendants to pay revenue earned for unlicensed use of my likeness according to proof. 8. Order defendants to pay $50,000 for damages in lost income for defamation. 9. Order defendants to pay $100,000 to plaintiff for damages for her interference with economic relations. 10. Order defendants to pay $250,000 for special future damages from the defamation. 11. Order defendants to pay any additional special and general damages according to proof. 12. Award exemplary damages and $86,000 in punitive damages pursuant to the requirements of Civil Code Section 3294. 13. Award plaintiff attorney's fees and costs of suit. In pro per. No attorney. 14. Order defendants to pay interest at the legal rate on such damages as appropriate, including pre and post judgment interest. And 15. Grant any further relief that this court deems just and proper. Dated February 5th, 2023. Unsigned by Jose de Castro in pro per. So this is an unsigned pleading, which he's going to be given a chance to fix, but at the moment, it'll be stricken. And we have the exhibit that we've already seen. 1, 2, and the list of videos she's made about him. All in all, that is a garbage lawsuit. A lawsuit, if you will. Unfortunately, it's going to cost Kate money to defend because that's the way things work. What do I think is going to happen? Well, he's going to lose in the end, one way or another. Because, for starters, 90% of this, he's alleging other people did, not Kate. So, Kate is not responsible for other people. It's asinine. But in the meantime, if I'm Kate, you know how when you see sovereign citizens and they show up in court claiming you have no jurisdiction over me, and they'll say, I'm here by special appearance. Kate will probably show up by special appearance. And she'll say, I'm only here by special appearance for the only purpose of saying, you don't have jurisdiction over me. The long arm statutes don't apply. Get stuffed. And that's probably going to work. So that's the grand sum of my legal analysis. I mean, this says I've been going for 2 hours and 34 and a half minutes, but I was at it for over an hour before that because I made back-to-back videos like a big brain person. And so if you haven't, why don't you go and watch my video about Logan Paul being sued for the CryptoZoo fraud? Um, and with that, thank you for joining me. Do the like, share, subscribe things. Thanks for putting me over the 1,000 subscribers. And I will see you next time, which I'm sure will come even faster now that there are two lawsuits going. So have a wonderful day. Bye bye.